Nobody's gonna clap for us or anything. You know, we're not doing that this week. Okay, fine, fine. Okay, welcome to episode number 73 of Whiskey, Wine, and Moonshine. I am one of your co-hosts, Miss Smart. We also have with us Lady Buddha and Sojo. Excuse me. I will apologize up front for my poor voice. I am ill, but I will soldier on. Lady Buddha, let's start out with you. How are you doing this week?
I
Thank
am doing fine this week. And I'm taking lessons from Sojo on being a troll. At any rate,
Learn from the master.
amen. I'm doing well. I am in the same hotel I was in last week, actually. So I'm back near my roots and have the hotel wine that I mentioned before and the nice plastic cup. So all is well in my land. What about y'all?
I am actually drinking this lovely glass of water because, like I said before, I am ill. So, ooh, shoot. So this is the best option right now. I have like Ebola Light. It was so
What is it,
bad.
like cold? Like a
Yeah,
throat?
it started out as my throat being sore on Friday, and then I like took a whole bunch of drugs on. I took something on Friday night, and then a whole bunch of drugs early Saturday, and then went out because that's how I roll.
Of course.
Um, and then got progressively worse. And then today, even though I was working from home, I was just like, you know what? I can't even pretend to work. I got to take to my bed. And so that's why I'm drinking water and these lovely Ricola.
But you need that hot toddy. Remember when I did that hot toddy concoction a long time ago with like the cinnamon sticks and lemon with a little bit of red pepper? Like basically that knocked out everything that was in my throat. So you might
Right.
want to try that.
So I tried like the spicy yesterday, and for me that spicy came through in the form of Indian food. And I gotta
Okay.
tell you, it didn't really do much.
Nobody told you to do that.
Well, you know
Yeah,
what?
that's
I was trying to
different.
get something
That's different.
spicy that I could have like really at work, because I couldn't have a hot toddy at work. You know, we didn't have any dark alcohol in the office. I mean, if we did have dark alcohol in the office, I work certainly would have used some. Um, but so I think I'm getting better, but I just don't want to play those games with alcohol right now. So, what about you?
Um, well, first of all, I'm doing great. I'm on vacation this week, so that is why I'm on vacation from this camera right now. But what I have is a really tasty drink. It's a little bit of vodka. Well, who am I kidding? It's a lot of vodka. A splash of strawberry margarita mix and a couple of frozen strawberries. So it's super tasty. That's it for me.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess we can move on then since we've all said our hellos. Before we go any further, I do want to shout out a new sponsor that we have, Moguldom Studios, which is a production division of Moguldom Media Group. Some of you are probably like, well, who is that? Those are actually the people who, that's the parent company of Bossa, Madame Noir, Style Blazer, and a bunch of other fantastic sites that I'm sure you've heard of. They This particular division, Moguldom Studios, does docutainment films about pop culture with sort of an urban twist. So to find out more, you want to go ahead and visit moguldomstudios.com. And we'll talk a little bit more about specifically how they're sponsoring us and how their sponsorship can actually help you guys shortly. Soto, do you want to add anything else?
Yeah, I just want to say, Buddha's going to do a pre-roll before the show, but you'll hear about their latest film, The Black Church Inc., where if you use the discount code WWMPOD, you'll get 30% off the deluxe edition of that film. And what we're planning on doing with it is like a mini review. For those of you who have been with us through American Horror Story and Orange is the New Black, we'll be doing kind of like a two-part breakdown of that. But what we wanted to do was include you guys. So as soon as we get the details together, what we're going to do is put the sponsorship link in the show notes. And if you guys get the Black Church Inc., I think the first one, did we say the first person?
We
Or what we,
did.
Okay, so first person to view the film, if you want a guest spot on WWM Pod when we do the review, if you'll hit us up with just a screenshot of that receipt at feedback@whiskeywineandmoonshine.com, then we can have you as a guest on the show while we're doing that review. So, yeah.
Okay, that'll be fun. So that is our first contest, or yeah, I guess our first contest
It
for our
is.
show. Yeah, I know. Somehow I figured like we would probably like give away something like I don't know, lipstick or weave or something. I don't know, because or cupcakes. I don't, people love cupcakes. So, but we're doing even better, something more substantial, which will be a great movie. And since Thanksgiving is coming up, if you buy the movie, I encourage you to make all of your elderly relatives watch it on Thanksgiving.
But look, check this out though. So I was gonna try to get Mama Sojo to watch it because okay, it's Black Church Inc., but it's talking about. I haven't seen it yet, but it's the clips should talk about the rise of the mega church and that kind of thing. So I kind of want my mom's point of view because she's old school country, but she also attends a mega church now. So it'll be interesting to get her feedback as well. But I definitely suggest not only you guys, check it out, but also encourage other people to watch it because it looks like it's going to be really good.
Okay, and we certainly will, like I think Sojo already said, we will have that in the show notes, the link to it in the show notes, and we'll, tweet it out certainly, and it will be on our Google Plus page. Moving on, let's talk about feedback. Feedback. That was my singing voice. You're welcome.
Oh,
Sojo, do you have any feedback? Because I have the one from Leonard Brothers.
Actually, we just got an email. Okay, now I can't pull it up. We got an email like 30 minutes ago.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll read that next week because I know I saw it.
Was it from Torona? Stencil? Torona?
No, it literally just came up.
Okay, well, I'm going to read the one from Torona. I love your show. I listened to you guys last night. Can't remember which episode. Can't wait till the 8th of October at 10 p.m. Fourth season of American Horror Story. New faces, old faces, new characters. Last season was not that good, but I got a feeling this season is on and popping. So, yeah, so we're being trolled into acknowledging another season of American Horror Story.
I'm really good at ignoring peer pressure.
I didn't even realize that it came back tomorrow. Like, I was like, oh, John, I didn't even know.
I didn't know until you just read that. So that's how much I knew about it.
Okay, well, I did find the one, Soldier, that you said just came in. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is from, I don't know if he wants his full name said, but I'll just say Chris L., and maybe he signed it at the very, very end. How's it going, ladies? I want to speak on the question you asked regarding class. And this is going back to an episode or two ago entitled Demure as Fuck. Who are the first people that come to mind when it comes to class? Maya Angelou, Diane Carroll, Felicia Rashad, and her character Claire Huxtable. What traits define them? They carry themselves with confidence and grace, yet don't stick their nose up at others around them. If someone comes at them with negativity or drama, they will not stoop to that person's level. They may respond with a slight verbal jab to quiet the person down, and if the situation needs to be handled further, they will do so at a later time or away from the crowd to not cause a scene and ruin things for those that are not involved.
Amen.
Class is not gender-based or a physical thing. It is how you present yourself in certain situations. Basically, the total opposite of the real ex-wives and girlfriends of a major city that love rappers and athletes.
Ooh, well done.
Yeah. With the example of Cheryl Underwood, I do agree that she handled the situation with class, but I will say that bringing it up on TV instead of to those women directly was not a classy move. I do agree that social media is tainting class, mainly because you're hiding behind an electronic device. It allows you to say whatever you want with no filter. You're not present in any particular space. You're saying all of this in the virtual world.
Amen.
He also says, congrats to Lady Buddha on the upcoming wedding. So glad men don't have to deal with the wedding dress process. I wish you and your man much success in your marriage.
Yay.
He goes on to say, thank you, Miss Smart, for calling out the folks who want to bash HBCUs and Black Greeks. HBCU alumni can throw fun jabs at each other, but crapping on another school isn't necessary because we all know who the real HU is, and it is called Howard University. Ladies, love the show, ladies. Keep doing your thing. Chris, one half of the Brothers Lehman. Black.
Oh, that's Black Is. Oh, shout out to him. Their website is blackisonline.com, so y'all definitely check them out.
That was so awesome.
That was very good. Hey.
But I do have to say that although the men don't have to deal with the dress, they do have to deal with the tuxedo. So versus the decision between whether it's a suit or a tuxedo, and if it is, what's the style? And if you decide that you're going to get one, are you going to get it from which of these kind of major tuxedo dealers, or are you going to try to get one from?
I just feel like they could rock, paper, scissors there. Like,
yeah.
You know what? But so we went tuxedo. Look, listen. I was there. We went trying on tuxedos this weekend and getting the wedding party set. And it's a little bit of a process. There's a little bit to it, and there's pictures of people coming out and walking around and doing the Michael Jackson spin. So it's still effort that has to go into it.
Okay, Lady Booty, you're breaking up a little bit.
Anyway,
which is actually ironic because I do have some feedback from Stitcher. It's from the internet, and the title is called Free Sojo. And it says, we here at the internet were shocked to learn of the accusations made against co-host Sojourner Verdad regarding her breaking us on episode 72 and previous podcast. We wanted to formally clear Sojo's name by letting the WWM Pod family know that she did not, nor has she ever broken us. We here at the internet love whiskey, wine, and moonshine, and will make every effort to make sure that we are properly functioning from here on out. Keep up the good work, ladies. Cheers to you. So that was a 5-star review from the internet on Stitcher. So I just want.
Did you write that? Did you write that? Admit it.
No, the internet wrote that. Duh.
That is so awesome. Whoever was that creative, whether it was you or someone who chooses to remain anonymous, you get 5 points back. That was really awesome. I like that.
Yeah. As long as my name is cleared.
It's not clear. No one there. You didn't hear me say that. What I said was props to that
what
person.
You said in the pre-roll was Sojo has been known to break the internet.
Everyone knows that. We can search Twitter and find that. Everyone knows.
Whatever. Free Sojo. Free Sojo, please.
Right.
Miss Marie, am I still breaking up?
No. So, and the last one we have, or the last one I see at least, is from Leonard Brothers of How to Be a Racist fame. He said, hello to the beautiful ladies of Whiskey, Wine, and Moonshine. First of all, I want to thank you for the great content you continue to put out. Unfortunately, I'm working until about 9 on Tuesdays right now, so I can't always check you out live. But I make sure to come through when I can, whether it's live or sometime later. I always enjoy the topics and perspectives you ladies present. I should have read this first, okay? I'm reading it on air. That said, I want to remind Smart to tell the story of how she knew her dad got a vasectomy. You promised it on Friday night, and I'm here to ensure you deliver. Okay.
Wow.
So. Okay, Papa Smart.
Wow.
You did tweet that. You did tweet that you were going to tell us that, so you might as well.
I did.
LB, it does not let you get away with nothing.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So one day, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I think I might have been like it has to be about 15 years ago. It was a very, very long time ago. And I was looking for a parking space, and this is not going to be the greatest story. So I hope you guys aren't like looking to bust a gut on this story. So I was in DC going to the hair salon looking for a space. And my phone rang. It wasn't 15 years ago because I don't know if I had a cell phone. Anyway, I had a cell phone, so it was whenever I had my first cell phone. And my daddy calls me. He's all chipper and everything. He's like, yeah, if I die after today, nobody younger than whatever can say that I'm their father. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh, y'all just took care of that. No more babies. It's just y'all can split everything 3 ways. no more. And so I am like stunned. I'm like, why is this man still talking? And so he goes into whether or not it was painful, putting peas, going home, like stop, I gotta make sure I got, put my peas down there. I'm just gonna watch a little bit of TV, and it was just so like casual and unnecessary. Like, I don't need to know that you are not pushing out any sperm after that date. Like, why?
That's pretty funny.
That's the sad story of my dad and his vasectomy. He gives me
is that if somebody did pop up and try to, claim to be a kid, you really could like pull that story out.
Yeah, I'm like, no, he had a vasectomy. So let's check. Let's look at his medical records. Coroner person checked some things out. He doesn't have any kids this young, so.
So basically, though, you get your ratchetness from him.
That's what I was just thinking. That's what I was just thinking.
No.
Something she was.
You just let it just roll off, and you got that from him. Yeah.
No.
You got it honest. Now we know.
If you met him, you wouldn't expect that he says and does those types of things, but he does those.
We expect
you said and you say and do the stuff you do.
Right.
Anyway,
you're not gonna weasel out of that one. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
For you, LB, let me just real quickly read what we have in the chat room here, and it's probably in no particular order. I don't know the screen name for this person, so I'll say M. Peterson for right now.
That's Evo.
Pull up, drink. Oh, Evo. Pull up, drink. Sit down, drink. Facts only, Sojo. Facts only. Out here breaking stuff. Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
Sojo out here making her own comments.
That was a 5-star review on Stitcher. Thank you.
It was a good one, but thanks for writing it, whoever.
And Hustle said, your phone ain't ringing 15 years ago. You might have gotten a page. The Sky Page 800 number, I had one all day at VCU. Right, that's why I said maybe it wasn't 15 years ago.
You know what? No. It was because I've had the same phone number since 2000.
Yep.
And I was not first on the bandwagon to get a cell phone.
It was It was 90.
Right, you did have cell phones in, because, yeah.
First of all, you know how because I just got this new Samsung Galaxy, so I was telling the guy in the store this story. I've had my phone and my phone number since it was a car phone with the big,
doctor's bag.
It was a car phone with the package and everything. And then I realized that you didn't have to connect it to the car. You could hold it up to your ear and walk around a short distance. So I had one of the first cell phones back at FAM, for real, and that was 98.
Yeah, that was in the 90s.
Anyway, so Hustle also said that LB was the most ratchet person he's ever known, and he don't even know him personally. Kimba Fuzz came in. Did I miss the contest? Is it about ratchet daddy stories? I may win that one. Yes, her dad is awesome. Her dad just he delivers. He just there, you mind your business, and here he comes delivering one.
So we got to so next time Kimba Fuzz is on the show, we have to have a segment. We have to have a ratchet daddy off. That's what we need. That's what we need.
Let's see. Hustle also asked, did the go out in? No, she just over here doing things. And then he says about this, damn, Miss Smart, you looking good, girl. Are we sold on Popeyes, or would you be interested in hip hop chicken? How about Mumbo Sauce Fountain? A Mumbo Sauce Fountain. Actually, I would be for a Mumbo Sauce Fountain, but I know people are going to double dip. So that's where the problem comes.
That?
She already told us what Mambo sauce was.
Okay,
we even saw a picture. I forgot
because I've been drinking vodka.
You had some. We went to Stan's when you were here, and you had some.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yes, that's sauce.
Okay.
Now you know. I went to
again.
Huh?
I'm just trolling Sojo. Go ahead.
Hustle also said, I went to a gay wedding about 3 weeks ago. Dude on dude. They both wore Texas. It was hot fire. I had a damn ball till the partition lap dance. We stepped outside and watched that Thursday night football on my Galaxy tab. That's lovely. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it was probably a nice wedding. He also wants to know about what kind of scenarios. We didn't really put a limit on the kind of scenarios, and the reason we kind of got to the point of scenarios is because we were thinking about a topic for this week, and my significant other had shared with me something he read on Facebook that I felt was the stupidest shit ever. And I haven't told the ladies, so this will be the first time they're hearing it. I don't have the actual text, but the meat of it was just, ladies, what would you do if you go out on a date with a guy and you're at a restaurant and right before you're about to order, you open the menu and he says to you, you can order something, but only $25 worth, including a drink or a beverage.
Oh, I saw that on Twitter. Oh.
Isn't that disgusting?
That's the dumbest. That's just
Thank you. The dumbest shit ever.
But you know, those little memes have been circulated, like those kind of stupid things have been circulating the internet for a good 6 months now. Like stuff like you walk in and your girlfriend's sister is sitting there in a bra and panties. What do you do? I mean, you know, but then you get to this stuff like you go to a restaurant and he tells you can order $25. Like what? Anyway, yeah, dumbest thing I ever heard.
Yeah, but what do you?
I was just about to say, what do you do?
I mean, but what does anyone do? Like, does that happen? First of all,
actually, I think I think certain things do happen. I've heard of people being expected to pay half the bill and not told up front. So
I have a friend that happened to. That I was just thinking that with the $25 menu thing was that when the check came, a friend told me, what did she say? Damn it. I think he slid the check to her and said my half is about
that was great.
How much his half was, and then like pulled out.
Oh.
And then like pulled out the card.
But see, this must have been a first date, right?
Yeah, it was. It was.
This goes back to why the first date should be coffee.
It was the first blind date.
This is why that should be coffee, or just meeting at the park or the bookstore or something public. Like that's why you shouldn't do that with somebody you haven't vetted yet.
Even if it is coffee, like to me, if the guy is, because y'all know me, I had lots of questions. Like I needed more information. I was like, and he's like, I don't have the information because it wasn't written. I was like, well, I mean, did he invite her? Like, you know, did they drive together? Did they arrive separately? Is this date number one? I mean, there's so many factors here that
because you can assess your exit strategy. Like first of all.
Right.
My first thought is an exit strategy needs to be had.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were you about to say?
I was just going to say, I mean, you know, because I used to date using, like we talked about the internet dating sites. And, you know, I met a couple of guys that we met at coffee shops. And we met on mutually, you know, decided upon terms and grounds of whatever. And so I was always prepared to pay because I don't know who this is. And I'm always prepared to pay if I don't know, you know, the situation is, if I haven't, you know, if I feel like maybe your vetting is a little suspect, you know, especially when I was younger, I wasn't as good as vetting. So let me just say that. So I was always prepared to be able to pay and get home no matter where I was. Okay. But as I got older, and if I started dating like that, we're just going to go to a nice neutral place that has a short period of time and costs little to no money. And so if I need to pay $2 for a cup of coffee and my sanity, that's fine. But I'm not going to trust you if I don't know you and we're going out to dinner and I have to be beholden on whether or not you're going to pay or do some other crazy stuff. So, So my thing is to try not to even be in a situation where I don't know what to expect from you.
Do you stay for the date like if a guy gives you a $25 cap, do you stay for the date or do you end the date at that point? Like let's say you drove. Mm-hmm. Let's say you have your own money, so you could up your part to $75 if you needed to. But like, do you even take the time to?
Because here's the thing, I still want to know why I didn't know that was possible before I got there. Like there was a time, for instance, where I dated a guy and I know he didn't have a lot of financial means. So number one, we were looking for places where it was going to be easily affordable. And if that wasn't a place that was going to work, then we discussed it ahead of time, how it was going to go, whether it was going to be Dutch or, you know, my turn or whatever it is. But if that's not something you can do, if you're trying to tell me when we get there and I didn't know ahead of time, that's back on me and my vetting. So especially at this stage, again, it's hard to kind of go back, you know, what might have happened 20 years ago, but I wasn't really dating like that 20 years ago. So.
Well, I would politely excuse myself, and give my best Kim Kardashian voice, which I can't do now because I sound like a Newport smoker right now. Um, but yeah, I would politely excuse myself and just not go out with that person again. Not because, well, mainly because I feel like that move is a tester move. Like he's
Right.
testing to see if I'm going to be a quote unquote gold digger who wants to spend $26 of his money. And
Right.
I'm just not willing to play that game because I recognize it. Because to me, if you get within that $25, no, I've seen this happen. These parameters are put on these women and they do every single thing. Oh, I don't like women who wear red nail polish. They never wear red nail polish. Oh, you got a $25 limit. And it's all these things because, and she's jumping through all these hoops, and he's just testing, just hoping that she doesn't do one of these things. He can say, see, there. That's
Yeah.
why you're not good enough.
Yeah.
And so I would just rather avoid that. I see it all the time. I've seen friends and foes go through that, and they go through it, and then once they get married or move in together, they think, "Ooh, I can now do what I want to do." No, you set this up where you've shown him you're willing to jump through his hoops. How are you going
Amen.
to change the game now? And then he gets all resentful, and then y'all are miserable, and you're getting gray hairs and wrinkles, and it's just not worth it. So
I mean, that's
Because
all.
I feel like it's not about the $25. I feel like
Nah.
it's more about a control thing because and again, I agree with you, Buddha, when you say that. Like, I've never been in that situation because I don't I don't do blind dates or stuff like that. I like to have conversations with people before I go out with them, and I kind of feel like conversations lead to what we're doing, what's going on, what your financial circumstances are, what the activity is that's planned for that day. So there are no surprises when you get there. So
Right.
if there's a surprise at that minute, that feels like, just like you said, Smart, a game more than a necessity where you're struggling this month and you only have $25. So I would be so hella annoyed at the fact that now we're in this combative situation that you're not going to see me again.
Right.
I might stay for the food if the food was good, if I felt like something was on the menu that but you will never be able to contact me again because I don't play games like that. So
Amen.
we have
yeah.
well, we have a little feedback. Kimba Fuzz says any dude that cannot afford to pay for dinner shouldn't invite anyone out to dinner. And if you're cash strapped, you definitely do not make a date. If it's someone you've dated for a while, that's a conversation you have beforehand.
Right.
Then we have.
And the other thing is like if you're on a $25 or a $50 budget for the two of you, there's so many free date things that you can do.
So much.
Yep.
That sitting at and telling somebody at a menu that you can afford a drink and an appetizer is not like
But what's the name of that movie? I'm not gonna be able to pull it up. Let me text Blue and ask him because there's this silly movie where dude only had like $12 in his pocket and he was trying to go out with this girl and impress her and she kept saying, "Yeah, let's go get ice cream. Yeah, let's go do such and such."
Yeah. It was the one with Dave Chappelle.
Yes.
Somebody in the chat say the movie. So I have another comment from Hustle. He says, so it was the summer after my first year of college. I came back to DC, got a gig, but wasn't working yet. My boy's baby mama's buddy was choosing. I was broke as a mug, but she was bad, and I wanted to touch that thing. Oh, gosh. You go to the comedy club. I got $7 cash, no cover, but 2 drink minimum. Okay. So what happened? I mean, I don't know.
Right. We need part 3. Like that was one of 2. We needed one of 3.
Well, while he's saying that, I'll read Kimber Fuzz's other 2 comments. She said, "You let the woman choose to go half or stay home. But yes, ladies, always have enough to cover your meal, because some dudes can be trifling." She also said, "This is a stupid game, and if that's what the dude is doing, are we 17? Come on now." Yeah.
Let's add cover your meal and get home, because I know Buddha said that originally in her comment, but I don't know the age range of women that are listening to us.
Right.
So if they are listening, always take with you enough money to cover whatever activity you're doing, and also enough to get home and let somebody know where you're going.
It was
Amen.
half-baked. The movie's
Yeah.
half-baked.
Half-baked, yeah.
Half-baked. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Bo.
Not a movie I would have seen on my own, but
That's what where when they say somebody Cuban B them, that's where it comes from. I'm Cuban B. Okay, well, fine. Sojo told me that, so I just felt like I was.
Didn't I tell you that?
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, any other great, and let me be clear, we already said we're not really doing advice, but these are just random scenarios. You can handle these things however you like. If you want to have a $24.99 meal, that's all on you, but trust me, my dating career tells me and my observations tell me it won't end well for you.
Okay, so when we were saying that we were going to have this theme, I really didn't have any scenarios. So I went to my database of fuckery, which is lipstickalley.com. Yes, I am a member. But Lipstick Alley is not just a groupie, whatever site. They also have like education forums and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, they have Therapy Alley on this site as well. So I just figured, since we were doing scenarios, we could kind of pull some of those from there. And I'll let y'all choose which one y'all want to hear first. So let's see. We have, I'm only attracted to my man when he wears a hat. It actually ties into a Facebook post.
Oh.
We actually discussed on Google Chat one time, ladies. The other one is my BFF told me that this guy she was talking to tried to hit her. She said he pulled her hair. Or my 23-year-old sister is living like a 12-year-old, or my mother-in-law lied on my son. So which scenario would y'all like to hear?
I like the hat scenario.
Okay. All right, hold on. Let me pull it up. Okay, when I read this, we're also going to tie it into that Facebook post that I told y'all about. Okay, so this person says, I've been with my boyfriend for 5 months and our relationship is great. When we met, I thought he was she said, series man I've never seen. She spelled it series. Okay. OMG, LSA, I was ready to toss him the panties before we even spoke. But he has a really ugly head. The ugliest I've ever seen. He has a gorgeous face and a crazy body, and his sex has me tapping out every time. He is very sweet, intelligent, and he really cares about me. I just cannot get into him when he takes his hat off, which is becoming more frequent. He even wants to go outside without a hat on now, and I'm embarrassed. And he wants to have sex with the lights on, which I normally love, but his head just annoys me. Am I tripping? Am I being too shallow? Is there a way that I can get him to wear a hat 100% of the time without hurting him? What about a lace front?
This is so ridiculous.
So wait, but as I was reading this actually in real life ties into the scenario I was telling you guys about on Facebook.
Yes, it does.
Where the woman, she had really long hair. And she was married to a guy, and so she ended up just on a whim going to the salon and cutting off all her hair. And so her husband and her kids don't like the hairstyle, but her husband is asking her to wear a wig when they have relations now. And so we kind of got into a, discussion on that on G-Chat among the three of us. So I figured this was related. So, yeah.
I'm just having trouble picturing that his head is so out of control that.
Ma'am. No. You've seen heads.
I mean, that's just so extreme. Like, you can't close your eyes. You can't look other places. Like, you don't have to look at his head when everything is going down. You can look at all kinds of things, including close-ups of the parts of his face that you like, his lips or whatever it is. Because if he has a hat on, she didn't say a ski mask, so she can still see the rest of him, and she's okay with that. So I'm just not understand. I just can't. I can't.
Well, I think she's basically full of shit.
Right.
I think she believes he's too good to be true and has to find a reason. She has to find at least one fatal flaw in him.
Yeah.
And so, shut up.
Yeah. But wait. I'm going to go back to something you said when we were talking about the Facebook scenario with the guy and his wife cutting off the hair. Mm-hmm. You said men are visual creatures. So it was okay for him not to be attracted to her anymore and wanted her to,
men. Opposite word. Men are visual creatures.
But okay, so women can't be visual creatures.
No,
some women are definitely visual.
She said all these other great physical attributes about him: the face, the body, and then I guess their interaction, both sexual and emotional and social, are all great, but she's focusing on his head, which is behind his face, okay,
Right.
and above and
What if it's a
behind
cone head? What if it is a cone head? Like he put on his little hat and it was all cool. She didn't say hairline, but I'm kind of thinking like sometimes dudes look like there's some guys that I prefer without a hat than with a hat, and there's some people I prefer with a hat than without a hat because it does change your face. Like
It
what
does
if it is
change
a
your face.
drastic change when he takes that hat off?
I mean, that's what I feel about baseball players that I used to think were really cute, and then I actually saw them without their baseball hats, and I was like, oh. However, I mean, I don't know how kinky she is. She can wear a mask. I mean, like cover her eyes, that sort of a thing. Like she could do other things if she was really into the guy. It's not, if he really had to have lights on, or they could compromise and do candles. I just can't. I can't.
and she was able to get this far with
Right.
his head being like that. In the scenario with the hair, the man met and married the woman with the hair. Okay,
Right.
so and I think that is different because she made a change to something. She changed something that wasn't in even existence. I can't believe that this woman met this man, dated this man, has slept with this man repeatedly.
With a
It
hat on.
looks like she might be 18, 7, I mean, 20. She's
But she said she wanted to throw her drawers at him when she first met him, so maybe she fucked him the
maybe
very
she
first
did,
time.
right? Maybe she did.
She
He
saw
wore the
him.
hat
Or
like
maybe
Mr.
he did still
Marcus.
have the hat on. I don't know.
And then all of a sudden, post coitus, he got hot and took it off.
I can't, like, especially, but 5 months later, like, if
Right.
that's all, if that's what's gonna, I just can't. So anyway, but to the woman, what I said was I actually know someone who did something similar to that, except that she had, it wasn't like my hair comes to the middle of my back, and so her hair wasn't that long, but it was long enough, and she was going through some emotional things, and in a fit of rage or whatever, she just cut all her hair off. Now, that's a little out there, but that's what she did. And so when she told me this, I knew she was married, and I did ask her, and this was at least 15 years ago, and I asked her, I said, well, how did your husband react? And she says, why do people keep asking me that? He loves me, not my hair. And that's all she said about it. So I was like, oh, okay.
But I
I was
feel
just
like
curious.
that's a valid question, though. I mean, to ask
Mm-hmm.
because going not even beyond the men are visual creatures thing, but it is a drastic change to appearance that is not something that you can't help. It's different when you lose your hair because maybe you were going through chemo or something like that. But on the Facebook thread, I was telling you guys there were so many good comments either on her side or on the husband's side, and one of the people that were on the husband's side said something to the effect of, normally in a relationship you have a conversation, and so it almost seemed like one of the things she said was that her hair was her husband's pride and joy. Like he always talked about his wife's hair and blah 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 blah. So it
Right.
seems like she was cutting it off to spite him, and
It
that's a
sounds
whole separate issue than you deciding to have a hairstyle change.
Or you had an emotional meltdown and you just cut your hair like Britney Spears style.
Right. It's
That's
like
what
so
she
many other caveats to that, thing that it's not just, oh, this husband is mad because she cut her hair off. It's like, whoa, we got levels, that led.
Yeah. Here's the thing. So even giving a more practical analogy, I had a job that was conveniently located. They moved to where it would be an hour and a half for me to drive there every day. That's no longer the job for me. But they gave me advance notice so that I could start looking for a damn job. They didn't make a huge, I didn't come into the office one day and they were like, oh, you got to, drive up to Dundalk or wherever the hell that was. I mean, they had the common courtesy to think, okay, we're in a quote-unquote business relationship together, so I'm going to tell the people in this business relationship with me that there are some changes coming. I can't expect them to not have a reaction. So you're in a business relationship with your spouse. Let them know some changes are coming.
Right. I mean, that goes back to the inners of the relationship that we just can't know. Like, for instance, back to my hair, I have done the big chop at one point, and I did have the teeny weeny afro. And even though I really do like my hair the way it is, it's not that I don't think it's possible that I'll never cut my hair again, because I might. So I have just like kind of thrown it out there. What'd you think if I cut all my hair off? And so it's something that we're okay with, because he is not so attached to my hair that he's going to have a meltdown if I don't have it anymore, even though he just thinks it's pretty, but so do I. But, it's still reasonable to change, but that's our relationship. So I think
I was going to say, I also feel like you're the type of partner that would mull it over with him.
Yeah.
As opposed to I'm at the salon, I come home, I'm bald headed, and bam.
Yeah, I'm not that impulsive.
You know what happens now, and then because even in that situation, it's such a drastic change. People are going to have off the cuff reactions. People are human, and everybody doesn't look good bald headed. So I mean, there are going to, especially if you have kids, your kids are super honest. They're going to be like, "Mommy, yes," or "Mommy, no."
Well, no, my dad. Like when I was little, my dad grows facial hair very fast, and he always had a mustache. And one particular day, I left the house. He had a mustache, and he came to get me from next door, and he didn't have the mustache. I was like, "Daddy, you look funny. What's going on with your face?" And I really didn't know what was different until he was like, "I don't know. You tell me." Like he had to like really make it obvious for me, and I was like, "Oh, I don't like that," and I still don't know why he cut it off, but I never really saw him again mustacheless. But as a child, I do remember that was very striking, and I didn't like it, and I wanted Daddy back with his mustache.
Girl, as a late 30-something, I had that reaction with a significant other when they cut off their facial hair. I was like,
dude, I told Blue, don't try it. When I come down the aisle, you better still have the same goatee you got right now. Don't try it. We really had this conversation. We really had it, because I was like, no, try it.
No, that conversation was not had with me, and I was like, oh, can you get it back? I mean,
I told him this week.
I was like, him to a lace front, goatee.
Stop it. You've gone too far.
It's real. I was like, I can't cut. If I come down the aisle and you don't look like I saw you the day before, it's gonna be a problem, and I won't be able to hide it.
Right.
So it does matter.
It does matter.
But I'm not gonna say that I can never. I'm gonna be in a relationship with a man for 5 months and he gotta put a hat on. So. Going back full circle, that's taking the joke too far. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, do y'all want another scenario, or y'all want to read comments from the chat, or what do y'all want?
Let's read comments from the chat.
Okay, yeah. So Hustle ended his story. Evo said, as Hustle, I guess, was typing, where he took money out of a bum's cup to keep the day going. That's what Evo suspected happened. So then Hustle said, so Youngin kicks in, but is salty all night. I gotta own that and take the L. I fix my money issue the next day and go to Shorty's gig and pay her back the 20 she paid for drinks. It couldn't go anywhere after that. My paper wasn't right. Them young problems, though, literally 20 years ago. I got more situations if y'all interested. I suspect you have many.
I got feedback for that. So first of all, shout out to you for even trying to rectify the situation after.
Yeah.
Because he could have just, let it ride. Mm-hmm. But then you said it couldn't go anywhere after that. Did you explain to her what was going on with you, or did you just? I
have dated a broke man. I did.
I mean, because shit happens. It's not the financial situation. It's how you handle the financial situation. So I am curious about that. Did you tell her what actually happened to you, or were you just like, yo, here's your money back. I'm taking an L on this.
Wait, while he's typing that, when you say it's how he handled it, how he handled not having the money means he probably shouldn't have asked her on a date. That's handling it. You don't,
Yeah. So I'm talking about his situation. I'm talking about his situation, because then he ended up at a club that it was an unexpected expense.
A club that had a two drink minimum, and he only had $7. That he had that from the moment he left his house.
He did, but if you're like
that was an after thing. I thought that was an after thing that he wasn't expecting. Okay, never mind. Hustle, never mind.
He handled it wrong. at the beginning. However, sometimes we handle things wrong at the beginning, and it does matter that you can go back and kind of rectify the situation later on and grow from it and not do it again. Now, if the next time if you got a whole string of women where, oh, whoops, then I'm giving you the big side eye.
Somebody put on Facebook, this dude left me at the club with a $2 minimum, and somebody in your comments be like, was that hustle? Because the same thing happened.
Right. If you do it one time and you're young, you learn from it. That's something else. I mean, but if you are all the time, that's just your stilo, and it took you 5 years to get the lesson. No, that's trifling.
Well, though, I mean, I think that in that case, in those cases, we would want to think, oh, that it would have a negative consequence. But I mean, maybe if Hustle's game was a little bit stronger, he could have finagled that into, something a little bit more, because, I mean, there are poor people around and babies keep getting made. So somebody
keep getting made.
Somebody is engaging with people who can't pay for 2-drink minimums.
Right.
Which is fine. I'm just saying,
Evo said, did dude have a big head or what? Does he look like that Megamind baby? I was picturing.
No one knows. It had to be misshapen, because however big it was, if he had on a hat, you could still tell he was big-headed.
Right. So, yeah. I'm not on board with that, young man.
I feel like there was something pointy going on in the middle that wasn't addressed when the hat was on. That's what I'm picking.
He had a lumpy head, but I don't know. She's extreme. All right.
On to the next.
Okay. Y'all want to do the one with this kind of serious one with the BFF friend?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So.
I'm so excited, right?
Well, I had the other one, which was the 23-year-old sister living as a 12-year-old, but that one was kind of weird. Okay, so this one is short. She says, my BFF told me that this guy she was talking to tried to hit her. He said he pulled her hair. She told me that this guy was talking, got drunk, blacked out, tried to hit her, and pulled her hair. She wears a bob, so he only pulled her weave. Not sure why that was in detail. She had to fight him just to get away. I've been upset since she told me. She doesn't want to file a complaint with the police. She says it's not worth it because she's completely fine. She told me that she never thought someone would ever hit her. I knew this guy was crazy, but she wouldn't listen to me when I told her to leave the guy alone. The dude even looked crazy. What the fuck? So I guess she's asking, what does she do as a friend in this situation, or, whatever. So if you have a friend in this situation, what's the deal?
Mind your business and Google some support groups, because she may eventually need it, and you should probably have those saved in your phone to text them to her as she's calling you and when he eventually knocks the shit out of her. And mind your business after that.
I mean, is she done with that guy, or is like?
Actually, that was the follow-up comment to that. So did she break up with him? And the person came back and said, I really don't know. She said she did, but she called upset crying, and I don't see. Oh wait, she says she keeps saying stuff like she's a helpful person and she just likes to help and be nice to people. So I'm going to assume that she didn't quite leave him alone. Oh, yeah, she didn't quite leave him alone. Wow, more details. He choked her till her eyes popped, her blood vessels popped in her head.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We don't do a great job of teaching our girls that self-preservation is a thing, can be done, and you should feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Should never feel bad about it.
I think there are two parts to this scenario. The first part is what's going on with the girl, and the second part is what's going on with the friend, or how should you be a friend to a girl in this situation, because being too involved could backfire.
Right.
Where the person could become resentful of you or cling to this guy, especially if in their background they're, thinking that this is the only person that's going to be attracted to them, a whole bunch of other things. But then on the other hand, you don't want to see your friend end up dead. She said that's her BFF, that's her best friend. So I definitely agree with you, Smart, as far as making sure they have the resources. But I think, and I've even been guilty of this, trying to force someone to use those resources is not necessarily the best thing as a friend.
Right.
No, and it also kind of makes, well, you can't make the person feel bad about what they're going through, because when somebody's in an abusive relationship, one of the tools, and we've talked about this before, that the abuser uses is getting them alone, without friends. So if you're that person's best friend and they are coming to you, on some level, you probably should just listen and appear to have zero judgment, because you don't want to isolate that person any further.
And I think that's hard for people to do, because that's an important thing you said, is listen without appearing to have judgment. Because, of course, we all have judgment. We judge people every day. But I think being an empathetic listener, making sure that they understand that even in this situation, if you're not judging them, you are neutral as far as your level of advice, but want them to know that you're supportive of them. I think it's important that they know that you're supportive no matter what decision, whatever you do, that's your business. Understand there are resources for you if you're ready, when you're ready.
Let me say a quick thing about best friends, though. So it's very possible that these two young ladies, their lives are going in different directions. And so, there's this whole idea, particularly, I guess, not even just women, because men do this too, that you have to stay BFFs with your BFF. No, you're not obligated. And I think in this situation with the woman being abused, that it probably will come to a point where, if they can't bond under the umbrella of abuse, that the friend who is being abused is going to sort of start feeling a certain kind of way. Oh, you think you got it all together, blah, blah, blah. Even if that's not the way the non-abused friend feels. So I think sometimes we don't always know how to deal with the collateral damage of one person being in an abusive situation and the other one not being in one.
Or how to deal emotionally with checking out if that is your BFF.
Yeah.
Because there is a certain level of guilt that could come with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tricky situation because, they say, the first step in solving a problem or getting healing is admitting you have it. But I think that's not the first step. I think the first step is realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though some people, say that they've been in an abusive situation and they realize it's abusive, I think especially at those early stages, or depending what abuse looks like, or depending on the rest of the relationship and all their background, they don't realize that it's dysfunctional. And so you can't just say, hey, this is dysfunctional. And sometimes the person isn't in a situation where they will tell you enough that you can help them to discover that it is. And I'm just thinking about me as when I was really, really young and in a dysfunctional relationship. I didn't really tell anybody any of the things that were going on. And I knew that I wasn't really happy and that there were some things that were bad that went on, but I didn't think about it deeply enough to tell anyone or to take any action at that time. And I don't know if someone would have had to be very gentle with me to first get me to a point to realize, hey, this is not acceptable.
Yeah.
It's not normal. Other people's boyfriends don't treat them like this. Like, they would have had to slowly and gently, first of all, get me to a level of awareness before I got to a level of acceptance, and then kind of, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but if you ever want to do something different, here's some resources. That probably would have been a good series of steps for me, but I still would have had to get to that point. So I think being gentle is going to be, and listening is definitely high on the list. And then, just like you said, providing resources for when the person thinks that they might want to try something different. I mean, it really has to be that tentative.
Right. And understand if they try it and then they regress back into the old, because it may take multiple steps before they step out. There's an article on the Huffington Post. It's actually 5 tips to dealing with your friend's divorce drama. But I think this kind of applies to the situation that we're talking about, because as I was reading it, I realized that I misspoke a few minutes ago. The first tip is she owns the sadness, not me. Allowing her to vent to you, but don't take the drama home with you at night. Because I'm guilty of that. I'm very guilty of, if somebody hurts my friend, I internalize that. I become angry. I become, whatever. So she owns the sadness, not me. The second one, and here's where I misspoke, be sympathetic, not empathetic. Know the difference. Being empathetic means I feel your pain. Sympathy means I understand your pain. Empathy means you're down there in the emotional gutter with her. Sympathy means you care, but you choose to remain gently detached. Number 3, be a role model instead of a fixer. Number 4, it's her life, not yours. And then number 5, know when to say no and claim your space.
Haven't I said all those things before? Haven't I?
I mean, I think we've all said all those things.
It took the Huffington Post to bring it to a nice, neat 5-point bullet.
Let's get our listicle together. The whiskey, wine, and moonshine listicles to how to fill in the blank.
But I think that, I mean, I like the fact that they dealt with the friend's divorce drama, but that also applies to even this situation with this person on LSA. Those 5 tips. And that's 5 tips with dealing with any of your friends' drama. Like, not even relationship drama, work drama, family drama, hell, period drama. I mean, everything.
You know what they don't address? They don't address dealing with the quote-unquote abuser, or the the person who's causing the stress. So, because sometimes, I mean, you may have that friend who, is having an abusive relationship, heterosexual or homosexual relationship, whichever, and you may socialize with the abuser and them. And so what do you do when, her husband or partner is at brunch with you?
Yeah.
Right.
Because
together.
Huh?
I said, or you vacation together, or you babysit the kids, or you all those things where you might come in contact with that person, knowing that they're mistreating your friend. What do you do? Or how do you deal? So, yeah.
Well, I know in a situation I was in, I just didn't speak to the person because I had only found out about it a few days prior to seeing him, and I haven't seen him since then. I've seen her several times. They don't socialize as a couple, although they are still legally together and under the same roof. But I think if I saw him again today, based on the choices that she's made, I would speak to him like I did before I knew anything happened. Because that's not my playground. That's not. I'm just like, okay, well, because if he wasn't with my friend, I wouldn't know that about him.
Right.
So.
Yeah. They don't. Maybe we need to do a listicle on that.
We might. You know what? We might.
Oh, let's see.
Oh, dang! Look at the comment Hustle put about your friend.
Yeah. So Hustle. I sent him the information. I think I mentioned last week about my friend's book, and it's way across the room. And he sent it the link for that financial literacy book to his CEO last week. He sent it to the marketing department, and they bought a few copies for us. So thanks.
Oh.
Thanks to you, and thanks for those of you who want to know what we're talking about. I'm going to get up and go over here and get the book right quick. Oh.
Well, and that'll be a good lead into the conference.
It was The Lost Curriculum, What School Didn't Teach Us About Personal Finance by Mr. Kari Parker. He is local. He lives in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, so if anybody out there want someone to come and speak to them, to a group or anything like that, about finances, it's a really easy to read book, and yeah. So thank you, Hustle. I'll let him know. Anyway, so
that leads into the conference.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've mentioned on here a couple of times that I help do the programming actually for a conference that we have in Atlanta, and it is the National Black Women's Life Balance and Wellness Conference. And this past weekend we had our 4th annual conference, and the theme was Embody Beautiful, Healing Our Way to Happiness. And we invited speakers to present on topics that help them to tell their own stories, but then also helped the participants to uncover aspects about their own lives in need of healing for various things. And one of my personal goals was to also make sure we included different types of wellness, which we always do, but specifically financial wellness. I always am looking for, well, who's who can present something that will help us with financial wellness. And that just kind of leads into actually perfectly, one of the sessions I attended was the one on financial wellness, and she did healing financial wounds. And she was, she was a good speaker, Keva Robb, and she talked about different techniques that you can do to kind of really, she talked about getting honest about your budget and your inventory and the ways you use things and if they make sense. But then toward the end of the presentation, she had us look at some scenarios, and she had 3 scenarios, and we were working in small groups with these scenarios. And after you read the scenario with your group, you had to answer 2 questions. One was, what emotions do you observe? And then the other one was, what choices what choices had financial consequences? So the main person in the scenario, what did they do that ended up having financial consequences? So our scenario in my group was a single mother. She had a daughter who was in college, and this daughter went to an expensive private college, and the mother paid the full tuition.
Hmm.
We lost her.
Oh, dang. Oh, wait.
For the mom, her parents were both aging. One of them was suffering from the beginnings of dementia, and she wasn't really sure about like her dad's retirement.
She said her internet was going to go out about 9:30, so it might be telling
her. Hey, let's you're breaking up. You like cut out twice.
Like,
man, why does that always happen?
You're
because
good.
You're using a lot of bandwidth.
And remember, your 9:30 cut off.
Right, and it's receiving both your image and your sound, and so that takes up more bandwidth.
Turn off your camera.
Okay. How's that?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, try
that. Okay. Do you want me to start over with the scenario?
You heard they were aging and dementia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that was the last thing I said. So they were aging, dementia. She didn't know how her dad's finances were. And so she just asked us, that was all the information we had. What emotions do you observe, and what choices had financial consequences? And so we had some discussion around that, but the scenario that caused the most drama in the room was, it was a husband and a wife, and they were having budget problems. The dad was, or the husband was, a teacher, and he encouraged his wife, who worked for corporate America, to go for, higher promotions to make more money. She was able to get one of the promotions, and the promotion basically took her traveling, so she was away from the house. Well, they had 2 kids together. So here he was at home with the kids now. She was on the road constantly, and he was unhappy about the fact that here she was with this big promotion. Now she's making more than him, and now she's always away, and now he's this single dad, basically. And so he got resentful of her being gone, and they basically had poor communication the times when she was home. And eventually, she ended up having an affair while she was on the road. And then she found out she was pregnant with baby number 3.
Ooh.
But from the affair guy?
Who knows? So it was, what emotions do you observe, and what choices had
what emotions do you observe? Like, is what the fucking emotion? Like,
yes. And what choices have financial consequences? And so we kind of debriefed about all of that. And a lot of what we talked about, went back to the relationships, and the fact that you can't separate your finances from the way you relate as a human being, either to yourself, to your belongings, or to other people. And so, back to getting clarity about yourself and your budget and your inventory, which is the things you own. That's going to be the first step before you can make any serious gains toward being clear about your budget and making more money and doing more with it. So at any rate, it was a great conference. This is the first year that we sold out. We have basically outgrown our current space, which is Spelman College. Woo woo. So, if this is a good time for me to give cheers, I do want to give cheers to the conference founder and organizer, who is Shanisha Brooks Tatum. I'm always inspired by her. I'm inspired by anyone who can have a vision and make it come into fruition. And so I've been, honored to be a part of the conference for the past 3 years. And this year I actually won an award.
I was just about to say, were you going to give cheers to yourself for that award?
Was it? I'm not, but I was kind of a little misty, which is kind of hard to accomplish. When I got the award, it was the Women's Wellness Champion. So for 2014, that's
And
me.
that picture is
Yay!
on our Twitter page if y'all want to see her receiving that award.
So anyway, so cheers, and I was glad to be a part of it. So next year, all of you are welcome. Sojo, I expect you to present for real next year.
Yes, I shall. I shall. I won't be on vacation. How about that?
We can see if Miss Smart wants to do one of her smart rants in at the presentation. All right.
Where can they find?
They can find me on Twitter.
Wrap up? Yeah, I was about to say, is this our wrap up?
Yeah, they can find me on Twitter at ND Collier, NDCOLLIER, and online my blog is at cocostudio.com, COCO Studios, singular, cocostudio.com. What about y'all?
Sojo, you go ahead.
Me? Well, first of all, I did want to go back to the beginning of the show when we talked about our sponsor, Moguldom Studios, just in case anybody missed out on that, because, we do want you guys to go to their site and also purchase that Black Church ink using the code WWMPOD so that you can get that 30% off. And, of course, if you, send us that receipt screenshot, the first person to do it will have you as a guest on the show when we do the review. My Twitter handle is at SOJOXOXO, and my website is www.feminyin, that's FEMINYIN.com. And my cheers goes to Courtney and Niall from Twitter. Courtney's Twitter handle is, I think, CN Crumpets, that's CEEN Crumpets, CRUMPETS, and Niall's is INEYEALEE. And I really wanted to give this shout to Niall because he started a site called dadmies.com. That's DADMIES.com. And there's an Instagram called dadmies. And so it's basically for fathers. I mean, it's all about them celebrating fatherhood because a lot of times men don't get a place where they can come and share emotions like blogging or pictures, all those feels that they have. They have a place where they can come share. So I just wanted to read from their About page and definitely encourage you guys to support them. It says, that's what Dad Meets is about. Mothers often get to share their love with much more open expression than we men do. And I know some awesome fathers. We all do. And here is where I hope to create a space where they are not only asked but encouraged to be as open about their journeys in fatherhood as they like. The fun times, the times they worry, the moments where all the things everyone said they'd be missing no longer matter. That means is a place where we can remove the mantle of steely protector and show that we love what we do. All the diapers changed, bottles drained, and 4 a.m.s welcomed as mommies sleep. We are the dad me's because mommies shouldn't get to have all the fun. So he is a brand new dad, like 2 weeks into it, I think. So, I wanted to give cheers to them for their new addition to the family. And that's it.
Okay, well, so for my cheers, I don't necessarily have a cheers, so I may be going off the rails a bit. I have a jeers, okay? So this whole fall pumpkin spice bullshit that is being pushed on the consumer, pumpkin spice in all of its forms is disgusting. I don't need it in my Oreos. I don't need it in my coffee. I don't need it in my chips. It's like everywhere. Like they have
candles. We don't need that candle.
We don't need the candle either. We don't. Like, it's not a good thing. It's not cool. I don't know what pumpkin lobbyist is behind this, but this shit needs to stop, okay? Whatever. Not a good thing. Anyway, I can be reached at think_P_smart on Twitter. The show can be reached at Whiskey Wine Moon on Twitter. We also are on the interwebs. At this moment, we would like to invite you guys to hustle on over to the iTunes, Stitcher, Podomatic, I don't know, the wall of your local bathroom, and leave us a 5-star review. We do read them on air, so we do give shout-outs. So feel free to do that, and feel free to share this with your friends and co-workers. And Hustle also said tweet him at Hustle_Crow on Twitter.
Hustle, you know what you need to do? You need to hop on over to Moguldom Studios and watch that movie and be a guest on the show because we would love to have your foolery
Yeah,
live.
he's trying to plug his sip and paint thing on October 25th. So that's if you're into that type of thing, hit him on hustle_crow on this Negro. Anyway, and we don't know where Jeffrey is. This is it's a little concerning though because Jeffrey
Oh
usually
yeah.
Yeah, Jeffrey is usually on point.
Calling us
Jeffrey,
pretty before we've gotten on
right,
camera.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. We will, like we've said throughout, we will have the thing about moguldom up on our website in the show notes. And again, first person to purchase gets to come on the show and review it with us. All right, cheers.
Cheers.
I don't have a glass. I just have water, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, bye. Okay.